Okay, this is lesson 19, value word problems. So if you look at page 94 at example 19.1, you'll see that Karamugu had 50 nickels and dimes whose value is $4. How many of each kind of coin did he have? Okay, so the first equation is going to be the number. The second equation is going to be the value. So this is going to be the number of nickels plus the number of dimes equals the total number of coins there are. So there are 50 nickels in this problem. I'm sorry, 50 nickels and dimes in this problem. And we're going to look at the value of each of these subscripted variables. So the value of a nickel is 5 cents. So we're going to make this worth 5. And the value of a dime is 10 cents. So we're going to make it worth 10. And then the total value of these, the set of coins together, is $4. So I'm going to write that as 400 because we're working in pennies because that's easier than using decimals. Okay, now it's just a substitution problem. So I'm going to solve this for number of nickels. And I'm just going to subtract ND from both sides. So that gives me NN equals 50 minus ND. And I can take this and I can substitute it for NN in the second equation. So 5 times 50 minus ND plus 10 ND equals 400. And then I'm going to distribute. So 5 times 50, 250. 5 times negative ND is negative 5 ND plus 10 ND. All right, and then combine like terms. So 250 plus 10 ND equals 400. And then I'm going to solve for ND. This is going to be 10 ND equals 150 and 10. Number of dimes is, oops, I did something wrong. Hold on. When I combined those, I should have gotten 5. Sorry. So 5, a positive ND minus 5 ND is 5 ND. So subtract 250 from both sides. And that's going to be 150. And then 5 ND. So ND is going to equal 30. Okay, so if the number of dimes is 30, then I can put that back into one of my original equations. So 50 minus 30 equals 20. So the number of nickels is 20. Okay, now let's look at 19.2. The fishmonger sold codfish for 6 pence each and mussels for 1 pence each. If Harriet bought a total of 26 items and spent 86 pence, how many codfish did she buy? So this is no different than nickels and dimes. It's just different money. So I'm going to put the number of codfish plus the number of mussels equals the total number of each of those items. So that's 26 items. And then the value of the codfish was 6 cents, or 6 pence, sorry. And the value of the mussel was 1 pence. So I'm just going to say NM because that means 1. All right, and then there's a total of 86 pence. Okay, we can solve this by substitution again, but the book solves it by elimination, so we're going to do that instead. So I am just going to multiply this first term by a negative, or this first equation by negative, which gives me a negative NC minus NM equals a negative 26. And then I can add these two together. So this is going to cancel. This is going to be 5NC. And then 86 minus 26 is 60. So, and then we divide by 5. So the number of codfish is going to equal, can't do it in my head, 12. Okay, and then I can put this back into my original equation. 12 plus NM equals 26. So this is 26 minus 12. So that's going to be 14 for the number of mussels. All right. And then 19B is, we talked about this in class, about how if when two angles in one triangle have the same measure as two angles in another triangle, the third angle's equal. The shorthand version of this statement is AA means AAA. You can prove this using substitution. So if you look on page 95, there's two similar triangles there, and it shows that the angles are the same by the tick marks. So angle A plus angle B plus angle C equals 180 degrees. And we also know that in the second triangle, that angle D plus angle E plus angle F also equals 180 degrees. Okay, so we can solve the equation on the left for angle C. So I'm going to leave angle C here and subtract angles A and angles B. And then in the other triangle, I'm going to do the same thing, solving for the same angle. So that third angle on the first triangle, and the second triangle, on the first triangle it's C, and the second triangle it's F. So angle F is equal to 180 minus angle D minus angle E. And then we're going to replace A with its equivalent, which is angle D. And we know that because of the tick marks. Okay, so the tick marks on the triangle show us that those two angles are equivalent. So for C and F, we don't have any tick marks. But for A and D and B and E, we do. So we can replace those in the equation. So angle C is equal to 180 minus that angle D, which is the same as angle A. And then we can replace angle B right here with angle E minus angle E. And this, okay. So if angle C equals 180 minus D minus E, and angle F equals 180 minus D minus E, then this is the same as this. So angle C is equal to angle F. Okay, so that's how we know that if two angles are the same, then all three angles are also the same. Okay, let's look at 19.3. finding x and y. Okay, now remember we did this something similar to this in class. We've got two triangles that are intersecting. Oops. Okay, and we know that these opposite angles right here, they have tick marks that show that they're the same angle. And then this angle is equivalent to this angle. All right. So what this means is that these are similar triangles. And even though they are not congruent, that means they're not, the lengths of the sides are not the same, they are proportional. So this side's 4, this side's 5, this side's 7, this side's y, this side's x, and this side is 6. Okay, so that means that if I look across from this angle, that is equivalent to this angle. If I look at this side that's across from this angle, that's equivalent to this angle. These 7 and y are proportional. Okay. I also know that the angle that the 4 is across from is the same as the angle as the, oops, where am I? That the 6 is across from. Okay. So we know these are the same. So we know that 4 and 6 are also proportional. So that means that I can set these up as proportions. Okay. So I'm going to do this in a different color so you can see it. So this side is proportional to this side. So I can say 4 is to 6. This is the smaller triangle. And this is the larger triangle. As, and then the smaller triangle, we know that this 7 is proportional to the y. So we're going to start with the same, we're going to start with the smaller one, put that on top because they have to match. And then we're going to put that y on the bottom. So now we can use what we know about proportions to cross multiply and find the missing number because the cross products always equal the same thing. So if I say 4 times y equals 6 times 7, which is 42, then I can divide both sides by 4. And I'm going to reduce this. 2 goes into 4 2 times. So this is 21 over 2 for y. And then we can do the same thing for x. So that missing side, the side that is not highlighted, is the side that's proportional for that missing variable. So we can just start with 4 over 6 again, smaller triangle to larger triangle. And then we're going to use the smaller side 5 over the larger side x. And we're just going to solve. Okay. And then, so this goes in, 2 goes into 4 2 times, and 2 goes into 35 15 times. So 15 over 2 is the second triangle. Now, we can also solve this using scale factor. So scale factor means I can look at this 4 and see what the multiplier is that gets me to that 6. All right, so I can say 4 times what equals 6. Okay, so 6/4 is my scale factor, and I can reduce that. So 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 2 goes into 4 2 times. So 3/2. This smaller triangle is 3/2 the size of the larger triangle. So now I can use that fact to multiply times the 7, my smaller triangle, 7 times 3/2, and that will give me the 21/2 for that y. That's what y equals. And then for the x, if I multiply the 5 times 3/2, that'll give me 15 seconds. So this is another way of finding this. This is the y value, and this is the x value. And what I did is found the scale factor first, and then multiplied that by the known side to get the missing side. Okay. All right. And if you look at the practice problems, there are 3 practice problems. Go ahead and do those, and then pause this, do those, and then I will put up the answers to those so you can check your work. Okay, so A would be 30 and 50. I'm going to double check in the answer key. Yep, that's right. Okay, let's look at B. Oops, did something wrong. Oh, sorry. 120. Wrote down wrong. Hold on. Okay. -8 and D. So a -1. 20 divided by 8 is 15. Okay, so the number of daffodils is 15. And so that means that the number of roses is 20. Okay. And then last one is find X and Y for this. 4, 5, 3, Y, 5, X. These are alike. These are alike. So this side is proportional to this side. And Todd, can you get that? Because I'm doing this. Somebody's at the door. And this. Thank you, Todd. Okay. All right, so 3 is to 5 as 3 is to 5 as 5 is to X. 3X equals 25. So X equals 25 over 3. And 3 is to 5 as 4 is to Y. And 3Y is equal to 20. So Y is equal to 20 over 3. All right, and then I'll check that. And that is also correct. Okay, have a good weekend.